Hello, this is my first time doing something like this, but I thought I'd give it a shot. It's something I kind of thought about for a little bit in the last month or so. I play a lot of games every year, and I'm not really a reviewer. I mostly just go like, eh. It's just that if people ask me about it, I'll talk about it. But like, I've never really reviewed games, so I want to try something a little different, and I'm gonna go over every game that I finished or started this year, if that makes sense. Um, or if I just played a significant amount of it. And that'll make more sense as we go through it. Because I think this is a pretty good year for games, for me especially. So I have my PSN profiles list up. You'll be thinking, Nick, but then what about all the games you played on other consoles? I did not play a lot of Switch games this year at all. And if I did, I didn't play them enough to like form an opinion on anything. So I'm gonna ignore Switch. I don't think there was anything that like, really stood out for me on Switch this year, and I don't play a lot of PC games, so it's just all PlayStation. So you get a little insight into my thing. There are obviously there are other games that I played this year, but I didn't really play enough to like form an opinion on PlayStation either. So for an example, I'll use off the top. Like in the very beginning of January, I played Bug Fables. I played for like an hour. I don't really count that as enough to like form an opinion. Now you may be noticing, Nick, it says didn't play enough on this list. It's like what I mean by that is like, here's the difference. There's some games where I'll put like 20 hours into it and still feel like I don't have a good grasp on the game. And then there's games where I play like an hour, and that's an hour objectively isn't enough to form an opinion for most games. So yeah, let's break right into it. I'm gonna go off my list, and then I'm gonna try and find them. I'm gonna hope. Oh, I just realized. All right. So it may be a little more zoomed in now, but this allows me to not move the screen when I do this. So trust me, it's important. Anyway, first game. The first game I played this year was a game I finished from the end of last year, I should say, was Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. I think the game is great. This is the kind of quality feedback you're going to get from me. I did a couple streams. I'm going to make a playlist and link it in the description of every game that I did videos in, and so you can kind of like see like an actual gameplay view of it if you're curious. I didn't do it for all these games, obviously, but there might be some where you might be like, oh, cool. It's just to get an idea of what it is. I'm going to put this, give me an A rank for me. I really liked Miles Morales. I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a good time with it. I think it was really well done. I think it was a little short, but like I've played so many Ratchet and Clanks that I know Insomniac and their like half game bullshit. It's not bullshit. I get why they do it, but so I like when I heard it was a shorter game, I was like, yep, that sounds like Insomniac. It's like a mid-tier game before they released the full sequel, but I still thought it was a lot of fun. Only thing I didn't like about it was to get the platinum, you had to. There's one or two missable trophies in the platinum, and you had to do New Game Plus all the way to completion, which felt like a bit much. That it seemed a little egregious at that point, especially because it resets a lot of the collectibles, and if you 100% of the game on the first time, then it just kind of feels like kind of a waste the second time. Like I didn't feel like I earned everything, but that's the only real complaint I have about it. Next up is, and this may surprise some people, Beat Saber. When I first moved to my new apartment, which was the beginning of January, one of the first things I was excited about is I finally had space to like properly do VR, and so I finally tried out Beat Saber. It was a lot of fun. I do want to go back and platinum it at some point, but I got stuck at a song and I was getting too hot and sweaty, and then like I put it down and didn't go back to it. So I do want to go back and play more Beat Saber. It's a lot of fun. I give it a solid B. I'm enjoying what I played of it so far. Maybe that'll come up again. Maybe I'll do another one of these. I don't know. Maybe I won't. And then next up is another VR game, Super Hot VR. Super Hot. I beat the game. That's about it. I didn't go for the platinum yet, but I did intend to, and then I just didn't. I'm also currently looking for it on my list. Hold on, there we go. Okay, there's. Yeah, it's a fun game. I like it a lot. I didn't realize there was a non-VR version. But like I've seen streamers and stuff play it, so I knew what I was getting into. One thing that I really enjoyed about it is that I couldn't do this when I was playing it like before, when I was like, I had my setup in my like walk-in closet. But there's a kind of movement you can do where you can like basically make people's heads explode, and I finally got that to work. Made the game a lot more easy. But yeah, it was a solid game. Again, I want to go back to it. I'll give it a B. I liked it. It wasn't like, anything I like played a ton of. Next game, still in January, by the way, was Hitman 3. Right off the top, I really, really like Hitman 2 and Hitman 1, but there's so much depth to those games, and it's so thick that it's one of the only games I like play RPGs by trade, so like this shouldn't affect me, but it does. It's just too thick. It's too much. There's too much to do, and like my brain wants to like do everything. Even though Hitman 3 has a platinum, I'm still like it's like got like 80 trophies, and I'm like I'm so lost. So I get overwhelmed every time I try to start this game, and I have to be in like a certain mood for it. And the problem is I go to play it, and I get like overwhelmed before even starting a mission, or I'll try and like 100% like one mission, and there's like 30 more missions, and I'll take like days doing just one mission. So I'm like it's too much. But I do eventually want to go back to play it. This is gonna be the first one I say. Didn't play enough. I think I did one mission in the Hitman 3 maps, if that. I think I went immediately to the Hitman 1 maps because my save didn't like transfer over. Or I guess they reset or whatever. And I just like got lost again. It was it's too much. So too overwhelming. But I want to go back to it eventually. I do like the games. They're just very thick, with at least 3 C's. Next up, I don't know if people remember this. This is right at the tail end of January. I platinumed Destroy All Humans, the PS2 version. I think this game is a lot of fun, but I also think that it hasn't aged super well. It's just okay. And you can play, I think you can get the trophies with cheats on, I think. But the collectibles in that game are kind of annoying, all the missions and stuff. There was one really annoying trophy that I think I got lucky with and happened to get, the Hollow Guys trophy, where you had to transform into 45, I think it was like, you had to turn into like, I want to say 40 different custom disguises, which if you haven't played the game, you can basically go up to someone, hit a button, and then you'll transform into them. And there's some that are missable, and if you don't, and like there'll be a custom NPC in a mission, and it's not required to turn into them, and then you can never summon them again. There's no mission select or anything. So it was kind of annoying trying to go for that. I did manage to get the trophy, and I'm very lucky I did. But it's basically a platinum ruiner, so not a big fan of that. And the game, like I said, it just hadn't aged super well, so I'm going to actually give this a C. I do enjoy the game, but I think I like 2 more, and I should play the remake. I keep waiting for it to go on sale, and it does, but I'm never like in the mood for it. But yeah, I also did a couple videos in that. Same playthrough, by the way. It's as the one I got the platinum in. And that'll be in the playlist below, I think. I don't know. I don't think I've done videos other than Zero Humans and Miles so far. Next up, I'm going to count this, but I shouldn't. So next up is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played this originally in 2020, like the most of you. I went to go for the platinum, and I got distracted by another game that came out. I can't remember what it was. And so I put it down, and then like trying to go back to it, I just have not. One of the trophies I'm missing is to get every single variation of the outfits for chapter, I think 13 or 14. So you need to get all 3 versions for Tifa, all 3 versions for Aerith, and all 3 versions for Cloud. And I got the easy one for Tifa by default, or on my first run. I got the best one for Aerith, and I got the best one for Cloud. The problem is I also need to do every side quest. And doing every side quest will get you Aerith's automatically. And Tifa's, you have to do every side quest in like the earlier chapter. So it's just a lot, and I just haven't like had the patience to do it. The game is fun. I want to platinum on PS4, and then I do want to play through it again on PS5. I might do that in reverse. I might play it on PS5, take that, and play it, and go back and platinum on PS4. But There's still a lot I have to do. I think I only have 43 out of 53 trophies, so I'm missing 10 trophies. But it is a phenomenal game other than that. But I only played a little bit this year. I will still rank it, though. Very, very fun game. I'll give that another A. That's a very, very great game. I think it could be an S, but Midgard by itself is kind of shitty. It's just all brown and green. So I'm excited to see where the next one goes. But for this one, it's just it got a lot. The music in that game is phenomenal. I went to the orchestra for that game. I went to the concert where they did the orchestra about songs from the game. It was all right. There was they did a lot of like the okay songs. I want the more bombastic ones, which they only did like a handful of. So that's all right. That's next. Next game I played a lot of, which may be surprising to some people too. I went back and tried to play more of the Kingdom Hearts Rechained of Memories on PS3. I'm only missing 4 trophies now. I'm missing max level with Riku, max attack bonus with Riku, and I think beat the game on hard and normal with Riku. I can't remember exactly. But it's a lot of playing as Riku, and I just haven't. I'll probably get that platinum probably this month, to be honest. But I went back and did that back in February. I finally knocked out a bunch of Sora stuff, so I'm excited for that. The game itself, though, you know, it's something. Do I not have the image here? Oh, I do. Okay. The game itself, I'll give it a. This is tough. I mean, honestly, you can go interchangeable here. I don't think the game... I'm going to put it at C. So the game itself, the card system, I don't think it's bad. I know a lot of people don't like it. It doesn't make sense for it to be in a Kingdom Hearts game. And I think if you're going to make a card game, don't make it active like that game does. Like, just make it, like, you know... like Cardpocalypse, Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh! Just make it an actual card game, and it'd be a lot more fun. The movement around with it and trying to do half and half is, I think, what kind of kneecaps that game. It's still not terrible, and you can get it down fairly easily. What I don't like about it is there was a trophy to get to level 99, and you can very clearly tell the game was not meant to go that high. Like, you'll be around like level like 50 or 60 when you beat the final boss, and there's just no post-game content. So, not fun. It was just a lot of like fighting the same rooms over and over, which is fucking awful. I hate monotonous trophy grinding. I finally pushed through and just got it this time, though. I was close enough where like I had enough motivation to finish it. But yeah, the game itself, the combat just, and the story is dumb. It basically, I'll never stop being mad about this. It introduces, the whole plot of Chain of Memories is that there's traitors in the organization you hadn't been introduced to yet. They get all their screen time in Kingdom Hearts 2, so they kill off half of them in this game before you're like even invested in them. It's so stupid. And there's a whole red herring plot line about Sora's memories that just turns out to be outlawed. Just kidding. We were lying to. The story's a mess. It is saved because Riku's story, and that's really good, despite like the weird thing of like he can smell darkness, which they quickly abandoned. But it gives more Mickey screen time as well. And introduces Richard Epcar, voice of Raiden from MK11 and 10 and all the other MKs and a bunch of other voices. As Ansem instead of Billy Zane, which I actually prefer his voice. I prefer Richard Epcar's. It's just an okay game. It's definitely the black sheep. I want to platinum this, but then I'm not looking forward to having to do it again on PS4 eventually. So that'll get a C from me. Next up, despite this very badly named game, I do think it was pretty okay. So the next game up is Suicide Guy, which I did do a stream in one day. Suicide Guy, the plot is you're asleep and you're about to drop your beer and you're aware of this in your dream, and you have to like kill yourself to wake up from the dream. And it's a bunch of like puzzles like that. It's an interesting concept, and I think the puzzles are pretty clever. It's just the movement in that game is terrible. It's just like a lot of platforming with a character that doesn't feel like it was designed to be platformed. The entirety of Suicide Guy feels like it could have been made in like Dreams, the PlayStation game. It's all right. The platinum wasn't too hard. It's whatever. So, but I'll give this a C as well. Not as like malice filled as it just didn't really do anything too remarkable. Other people might other people might rate it higher for me, or than me, because I just don't really like puzzle games that much. So, could be. Just might not be my cup of tea. Similarly, we did a stream of this the same day, and I went back and played it. Oh my god, okay, here we go. I keep trying to look for the images. We played Void Bastards. Void Bastards is a cel-shaded roguelike. I remember seeing gameplay of it originally and being like, I don't really like this art style. But after watching a couple streams of it and playing around with myself, I was like, this is pretty fun. And it's a good game. It's just hard. I want to go back to it. I'm going to rate this as didn't play enough. I only played a couple hours of it here and there. I definitely want to get more into it. Because I think it's a lot of fun. I like roguelikes, but it just is also very dense. The trophy list for this is also really hard, so I'd have to actually really love it to go for the platinum. I might just not go for it. What's next? Oh, jeez, here we go. So the first game, I'm not going to talk about this too much. The first game of this happens with, football game. It's the first Ratalaika game. It's trophy trash. It took about an hour to platinum. Carlos and I recorded a video where we voiced all the characters, and it was really, honestly, one of the funniest videos we've ever done. So, of course, that's the video where my hard drive failed. I had to get a new internal hard drive because it just didn't write it properly and didn't record it properly. Also, turns out that's why I was having for 2 years when videos just randomly would get corrupted and not record. It's because my hard drive was failing. So it's a problem I could have fixed so much longer before that, but. It's just trophy trash. It's nothing to write home about. Next game up, we also streamed this the same day we did Suicide Guy and Void Bastards. Played a little game known as Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is dope, and I love it, and I don't know why I haven't gone back to it. Is the honest answer. Last trophy I have logged in this game is February 19th, and I have no idea why it took me that long. Because I really, really did enjoy it. It was a lot of going back and forth, but it was so calming. It also the game is about you taking over for Charon, who is the ferryman of death. If you've seen any Greek stuff or maybe even played Hades, and so I think the reason I stopped playing was that I was getting to a point where I couldn't progress until I said goodbye to one of the characters, and I just emotionally couldn't do it. So I think that's why I stopped. I'll go back to it though. Spiritfarer, I'm gonna give this a B. I really like this. That might change once I finish it, but I'm really enjoying it. What I've played so far. It's really cute. It's really fun. It's really unique too. I haven't really played another game like it, so we love to see uniqueness here. Next up, we got some more trophy trash. Jack and Jill DX takes about 10 minutes to platinum. I should get some water. Hold on, but yeah, it takes about 10 minutes to platinum. Nothing to write home about. It's just a 2D side scroller. Don't buy it unless you want the trophy for it. That's all I'll say. I bought it on sale. I bought all of my trophy trash games on sale. All right, next up. So a funny story about this game. This is the game that made me buy window shades for my living room because I was worried what the neighbors outside would think if they saw, if they could see this on my screen through my blinds. It's not the game you think it's going to be. It's Plague Inc. Evolved. Yeah, a little bit of a weird game to be playing during the middle of the biggest pandemic of my lifetime. But yeah, I wonder what made me think to play it. But I went back to it for a bit, got some of the trophies. I'm missing, I can't really tell. It says I'm about 72% of the way through the game. I'm missing 13 or so, give or take. It's all right. It's a lot of following guides and stuff like that, just for specific things. There's a lot of different things you can do in this game, and the trophies are kind of difficult. Only 7.63% of people have this game platinums, but I think it's a fun game. It's a simulator. I enjoy it. It's not super robust or anything, but it's a fun novelty. I think that's the problem, is that the trophies require a lot of gameplay, and it's this is a game that has 10 hours max before you get bored of it. Just because even though the different plague types are very different and there are different ways to win and get the game clear and stuff like that, it's also kind of difficult, and it's not it's not varied enough to warrant being a 30, 40, 50 hour platinum is what I should say. But I'll go back to it eventually. But for now, I'll put this at B. It's unique. I like that it's a unique enough game. Yeah, no, I'm gonna put it at C. The overstaying its welcome thing is kind of a big issue. All right, next up. This is a game I only played a little bit of. I'm going to put this in, just a nip in the bud. I'm going to put this in the didn't play enough category. I tried Astroneer out. It's alright. I think I got a bad spawn. I had to, like, work really hard to get, like, the basic materials. Like, if they just didn't spawn anywhere near my my base. Instead of starting a new game like I should have, I just, like, kind of rode with it. So, it's whatever. I'll go back to it eventually. It was fun. The trophies don't look too hard. Actually, I think there's a couple multiplayer ones, so I might need to boost them or something. But, you know, it's alright. I like the concept of it. It's just Minecraft in space. But, yeah. It's, like I said, I just not much to say when I just didn't play enough. So, next game. I continue to work on this game, and it continues to elude me. But I'm going to put this up immediately. Bloons Tower Defense 5. I continue to try and platinum this game. Same deal as Plague Inc. It is a game that has way too difficult trophies for a game that's as simple as it is. You have to get, like, you have to beat, like, every map on multiple difficulties. And, like, even on normal, like, going through an entire, like, map, because you can't really auto through it, takes, like, half an hour, and it's just, like, I lose patience so much. Although I am playing Critical Role right now, I am watching Critical Role right now, and I'm between games, so maybe it'll be a good time to go back to that and try and do a little more. I want to get this platinum eventually, because I really do think it's a fun game, and we got to reward good tower defense games, we really do. But it just takes so long. It's just so much work. So that's where that is. Next up is a game I did platinum. It's all right. I don't really have strong feelings on it. I'll give it a B. Will I give it a B? Will I give it a B? Yeah, I'll give it a B. It's Melody of Memory. Once again, same thing. They were like, hey, let's make a Kingdom Hearts rhythm game. And instead of just making it standard, like, press the button inputs to match the beat of the music, they were like, what if we made this whole thing where you have to, like, scroll through and overcomplicate it, just like we did with the Rechain of Memories. I think it's fine. I think the music in Kingdom Hearts is one of the best is some of the best music in video games. So, like, there were some tracks that were, like, really fun to play. It didn't feel like they were all synced up perfectly. Some songs they felt like they really nailed it, and some I don't think they did. But it's all right. It wasn't too hard of a platinum. How long did it take me? It took me about a month. Just the story stuff in it was interesting. It was like maybe 30 minutes of story for an entire game. I would not pay more than like 40 for this if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan. I wouldn't pay more than 20 if you're like on the fence about it. But it's fine, you know, it held me over. It wasn't a terrible rhythm game, it just, you know, again, it was just kind of hard. It could have been a lot harder. The trophies for this aren't actually that bad. They could have made you, like, S-rank every single song, which they didn't, so kudos to them. But yeah, that's not much else to say about it. It kind of existed. This next game is very near and dear to my heart, and I think people are going to be surprised by the rating I give it. Also, I did a couple of videos in Melody of Memory as well. Or maybe just one. But yeah, so I think people are going to be surprised by the rating I give this, but I'm going to give the next game, which is Cardpocalypse. Cardpocalypse! This game is dope, and it's a good card game, and it's like a super indie game. I'm going to make this an A rank. I really, really, really enjoyed my time with this. I did have some finicky trophies, and I figured out later why. So, Cardpocalypse is a card game more similar to Hearthstone and Yu-Gi-Oh!, but, like, I think the writing is very, like, 90s nostalgia, but, like, in a good way. Like, it's, like, it captures the essence of 90s without being, like, remember this? And I also think it's got a good level of depth of challenge, while also, like, if you know the game, you can kind of break through it. You can get stickers that you, like, increase the attack and defense of your cards, give them effects. Basically cheating, which is great. I really, really enjoyed my time with this. The only issue I had with this game was that you had to beat the game. So you had to become best friends with everyone, and you can only become best friends with one character per game. And there's one for each of the like 4 like types of monsters. So you have to beat the game at least 4 times. which is a lot. Even though you can like kind of once you like know what you're doing, you can kind of speed through it. But just like still felt like a lot, even though the game's not that long. And the other part was there was one to beat on hard without dying. Alright, give me this fucking trophy game. I actually earned it this time. I'm gonna be really upset. Yep. When does the trophy pop? Come on. Come on. Oh! Yes! The power! I feel it coursing through my veins. I did it. Which I did I cheesed it a couple times and it didn't pop, and then I also did it successfully and it still didn't pop. And I realized if you have a single save from a playthrough where you died, then it will count that. So you have to basically delete all your saves before you start the pro playthrough, and that'll solve it. Just in case there's anyone who's like, I can't platinum this either. But it's very fun. I think I was like, let me click on this. I think I'm the... I don't know how many people have it now. Oh, more people play this game. I'm the 14th person to play it to platinum this game on PlayStation. Only 23 have done it total. So not a lot of people have bought this game, and I think that's honestly a crime. This game is so good. I think it would thrive on like PS Now or PS Plus. I think it also just doesn't go on sale a lot. So maybe that's why. But the game is phenomenal. I really recommend it, especially if you're looking for like a card game fix. Maybe you bought Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duels and you're like, this is kind of for babies. Play Card Apocalypse instead, where they kind of like, it's not like super adult, but it's still like good for all ages, I guess, is the best way to put it. So I would definitely recommend that game. Hard recommend for me. Next up, just gonna skim right through it. More trophy trash. Tetris Escape. It's like kind of Tetris, kind of platformy, kind of it's whatever. It took me on PS4. It took me 2 weeks and a day to platinum it. That's because I was like saving trophies so I could keep my streak going. It's all right. I think it's of the trophy trash. It's probably one of the better ones. If you like puzzle games, it's not too bad. But it is very much like I would not have played this if it wasn't for the platinum. Oh boy. Okay, I'm gonna get some judgment for this one. I don't know that I told anyone I played this game. But the next game I played and tried for a little bit was Senran Kagura Estival Versus. I'm not going to describe this game. I'm assuming I'm like editing and putting some like short clips in here. The short clip should speak to itself. I did play enough of this game, and I'm not anime enough to like this game. I'm not enough of a degenerate weeb to enjoy this game, is what it comes down to. It's like, I don't know, just whatever. I don't understand games or anime that will try and do as much like revealing clothing and like stuff as close as possible, while also having all the characters seemingly be underage, and also like not know anything about like anything remotely related to like sex. So just such a very strange and gross juxtaposition of having these characters who are like innocent, but also like have size G boobs and just like super revealing. I think it's kind of gross. And so I couldn't get through that. I got like 7 tries. I thought it would be like an easy platinum, but like I couldn't get through the game. It was just too much. I'm not going back to that. D rank. It's bad. Some people might enjoy this kind of game, and that's fine. I think the writing was atrocious. I think it's just writing was bad. Messages were bad, and I swear to God, if you're typing a comment going that they're all 18, you need to shut the fuck up, because I don't care. People in the audience don't care. It's weird. It's all so weird. Just leave that alone. I don't want to think about it anymore. I learned my lesson, or you would think I did. Next up, Jack and Jill DX again, but on Vita this time. Again, still trophy trash. Another trophy trash game following off the heels of that. This might actually be one of my least favorite games that I had to do platinum for, which is Bird Game Plus. I think it was like $1 or $2. It took apparently I got the platinum in like 4 days, but it's just boring. You just like scroll as a bird, and it's just whatever. I don't care. If it was on Vita, I wouldn't have bought it too. It's just weird. Going back to games I actually enjoyed, I played Undermine. Undermine was really fun. Another roguelike that was kind of filling the Binding of Isaac-sized hole that I had in my life, the little like itch. I stopped playing it. I can't remember why. I just stopped for some reason. But I really enjoyed what I was playing of it. So I definitely want to go back to it. I'm not going to say didn't play enough yet. I think I did play enough. I think it's a B. But I do think that might change if I play more. But I really enjoyed my time with that. It's a really cool mechanic of just like basically finding money, but also like power-ups, whatever. I did do a stream of that as well. I think I streamed that the same day I did Void Bastards, Suicide Guy. I think did I stream this? Maybe I didn't stream it. But I definitely thought about streaming it. But does that count? But yeah, it's a really solid game. I'm looking forward to going back to it. Next up, another game that I have not given enough time to. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rift. It's made by the people who did Dragon's Crown, which surprised me. I learned that maybe like 2 hours into the game, and I was like, oh. It's like visual novel / kind of mech fighting game. And I guess I wasn't prepared for how visual novel it was going to be. Like the percentage on this game is like 58% of all people who've started the game have the platinum for it, and there's 56 trophies. So it's not bad. I have 6, so to be clear. So it seems like a very easy completion, and I've heard really, really good things about it. I just haven't played it enough. I think that might be the game I go back to next. I've been like, it's one of those games that's always in the back of my mind of like, I should go back and play that. I just never find the time for it. But yeah, really solid. Really looking forward to playing more of it. Next up, a controversial game. Ooh, we don't get a lot of that here. Ooh. Next up is going to be Marvel's Avengers. I finally pulled the trigger. I didn't pull the trigger on this one. It was on PS Now, and I played through the entire game while I was on PS Now, and I was like, you know what? Not a bad game. I actually went and bought it when it was on sale. I think it's a good game if you play just the story. I think it's a gas game, so games as a service. And it's kind of prioritizes or incentivizes multiplayer, which I don't really like. I didn't really want that. I didn't sign up for that. There's all sorts of stories going behind the scenes of like, you know, how clearly they just like threw microtransactions into this to try and like maybe people enjoy it, which is a shame because they pulled Eidos Montreal away from it, I believe, who, you know, could be making another Deus Ex game, but no. But you know, it's whatever. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. I think it's pretty good actually. The story was good. I actually think the characters are fun to play as. I haven't gone back and tried Spider-Man or Black Panther. I'm roughly 58% of the way through the game. So I want to go back and platinum it. It's just a lot of grinding, a lot of end game grinding and stuff that I don't really want to do. But I do want to go back to it. I think I'm gonna give this one. I'm trying to think of the story. What did I think about this game as I was playing through it? I'll give it a B. I think I enjoyed my time with it. No, I'll give it a C. I did enjoy my time with it. But some of the story beats were kind of predictable, and some of the way they played some of the characters were iffy. The voice cast is phenomenal. I love all the people who voiced this game. And I'm going to make, you know what? Final verdict, I'm going to put it as a B. I think Kamala Khan is great in this game, and I think Ms. Marvel is great. I think the different characters all have their strengths and weaknesses. Overall, I think it was more good than bad. I think people give this game a really bad rap. That's kind of undeserved. I guess I said I hadn't played Black Panther or Spider-Man. I haven't played Hawkeye or Kate Bishop either. I should watch Hawkeye. But yeah, so that's Avengers. That's where I'd put that. Next up, Tetris Escape again on Vita. And then, this may shock you, football game again on Vita. Both trophy trash. Now, this one is interesting, and there is a video of me and Carlos playing through this game. I bought this game because I knew it was going to be an easy platinum, and I thought it was going to be a fun game that I could play through with Carlos or something like that. Like it'd be like a kind of a meme game. And I was actually surprised by this game, and that doesn't happen very often. This game is called One Night Stand. So naturally, my assumption was that it was going to be very tasteless, and just weird and like kind of what do you call it? Like trying to like make like bait people in with it because of the topic. This is a pretty so I was gonna say good and solid. It's a pretty solid game. It's not terribly long. I think I platinumed it maybe 3 hours, and that's after doing like an hour on stream with Carlos. The premise of the game is that you wake up the next day after a one night stand. Both you and the girl that you were with are just completely hammered. So you don't remember anything. She remembers bits and pieces, but you're also like trying to figure out what happened while she's like in the bathroom and stuff like that. And I think there's like 12 to 15 different endings. But what I really liked about it is that it was pretty realistic. Like it wasn't. I was fully expecting it to be like really badly written. It was pretty well written. The best possible ending is that you agree to just be friends and just like. And stay in contact, but it wasn't really a huge connection otherwise. There's not a single ending where you can get together with her, which I think is that can happen. Sometimes people just don't click. There are several endings where you look like the psychopath for like accusing her of stuff that you have no basis of, or you can piss her off enough where she'll like kick you out before even like letting you get your clothes, and she's justified in doing so. Like. I think it was really fun, and I was fully expecting it to be like an incel kind of game, and if anything, it teaches you not to be an incel. This is gonna surprise some people too. I'm gonna give this a B for the price and for the positive messages, and just honestly the shock that it was that good. I honestly walked away from it thinking that was a pretty great game. So I'll give that a B. I recommend you check that out if you see it on sale. It's really not that bad. It's only a couple hours. It's good platinum. Maybe I was reading too much into it though. Next up, I haven't finished it, but it is trophy trash. It's Twin Robots. It's just a platformer. It's got an interesting mechanic of switching between two robots, but basically just means having to platform the same level twice, and it's not that fun. But I've only got like 9 trophies left in it, or 8. Ooh, next up is gonna be spicy. So next up is Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil 8 for you Philistines. I don't know what Philistine means. I hope that's not a slur. So Resident Evil 8. So for my history of Resident Evil, I have watched streams of I think every Resident Evil except maybe Revelations 2. But I've seen all of them played like to completion. I've played myself. I've played through 4 multiple times. I started to Remake. There's a stream of it, and there's also a full playthrough of 4 and multiple streams of 4. But I'm not gonna link that in this playlist. But I really liked 4 a lot. 5 I thought was too actiony. I played like an hour of 6 over a friend's house, but I didn't really like it. 7 I thought was fantastic. I think first person Resident Evil was a huge step in the right direction, and it was good horror as well as like action. I think Village is the closest. Village is like a combination of 7 and 4, which is a really, really good combination. I loved my time with this game. I had a ton of fun, and I made a mistake of not. I have 2 trophies left. I have to get S rank in all mercenary mode. I have 3 out of 8. And then I have to beat the game with knife only, which you can do with the knife you get for beating the game once. But you get a lightsaber essentially for SS ranking all the mercenary modes. So my plan was to do that and then go through with the lightsaber. Apparently they're like the same strength though, so like it's not worth it. But I knew that if I put the game down and didn't finish it, that I would have a really hard time going back to it and getting those last couple trophies, and that turned out to be true. So that's unfortunate. That being said, Resident Evil Village, the first S rank, I really, really, really enjoyed this game. I thought the combat was great. I thought the puzzles were good. I thought the exploration and like the environment, the setting was really good. Like I loved the village. I loved the castle and all the other areas. The dollhouse was horrific. I think the weakest part of the game is the river, the dam, I guess, whatever it's called, the water section. I thought that was just sort of okay. It wasn't really that long though, so it didn't really overstay its welcome. The factory gave me like real Resident Evil 4 vibes. I think the factory is a little tough at points, just because like they give you some strong enemies and you're really low on ammo at that point. The game was very self-aware, like the Resident Evil series as a whole, so I really appreciated that. Honestly, it might be my new favorite Resident Evil. I'm really excited for it. I have the PS4 version as well. Once I platinum 5, I think I'm really gonna go back and play 4 as well, and might even like stream it or something. I'm sorry, I might even play it on the PS4 version. Phenomenal. One of my favorite games of last year. Next up, oh, this is a tough one. This one hurts. Subnautica's Below Zero. I love the original Subnautica. I don't remember how I got into it originally, but I love it. And I've platinumed it twice, and I've played it on PC to completion before it came out on PS4. I cannot get into Below Zero, and I don't know why. I maybe haven't given enough of a shot, but it's not vibing with me the same way, and I don't like that. I need to find someone who's... I think I got into Subnautica because I watched someone play it first. I think I got to find someone who's played Below Zero, then try and play it myself. I think that's my plan, but I have not played enough. But my first impression is I'm not liking it as much as the original Subnautica, and I don't know how I feel about that. But I'll go back to it eventually. Next up, ooh, this is gonna be spicy. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4. I'm gonna put this as a D rank. It's not necessarily a really bad game. It's just that One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 was really good and covers most of the story up to Dressrosa, which was still ongoing at the time. So like it's like a fake Dressrosa arc, where they basically like add in characters who weren't there and stuff like that, because they didn't at that when they made the game, it hadn't like come out yet. This game does the same thing but with Wano. So they made like a fake Wano arc. They have all of Whole Cake Island, all of Dressrosa. I think they have this Dressrosa, right? Did I make that up? I think so. The other arcs they have are Alabasta and Water 7 combined with Enies Lobby. Did they have Dressrosa? They might have skipped Dressrosa. I think there's only 5 areas in the game, and it's Alabasta, Enies Lobby / Water 7. I think Marienford is the third one, but I'm not sure. I honestly can't even remember. And then the fourth one is Whole Cake Island, and then the fifth one is fake Wano. The reason I didn't like it is they made some changes to the combat with like the special moves and stuff that I thought was just kind of meh. And the fact that the last game had like 20-30 different arcs and this game had 5, I was like, what happened? And it took years for this to come out between 3 and 4, so I'm like, what were you doing there this time? I really just didn't like it. It really annoyed me because there's a trophy for getting I think it's, what is it, 100 million belly. If you beat the game, you'll have 50, and then the most you'll get in a match is like 1 million. So you have to do 50 monotonous matches after that, and I got so fucking sick of it. It just overstayed its welcome so badly. It wasn't particularly good in the first place. It's my least favorite of the Pirate Warriors games, and I don't think 1 is very good, so that's not a good sign. But I did platinum it. So there's that. I have the platinum for 1 and 4. So that's something. Alright, next one. Carlos and I did a fake podcast stream of this. It is one of the worst trophy trashes I've ever played. Scheming through the zombie apocalypse at the beginning. It's written by people who, like, I guess exclusively watched South Park and like wanted to imitate them so bad. It's just dog shit. It's just a bad game. I wouldn't even say it's worth the platinum. It's just like so much of a slog to get through it. I didn't enjoy it at all. So I would not recommend that. Next up, Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. I'm going to immediately throw this in S rank. That is another one of the best games I've played this year. I'm a hardcore Ratchet and Clank fan, so that both biases me and makes me very, very, like, if it's bad, it's going to be really bad for me. But I really enjoyed my time with it. My only issue with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is that I felt like it was kind of short, and not like Insomniac middle game short. Like, it felt short even for a Ratchet and Clank. But it was still good. I really enjoyed it. The trophies weren't too hard. They were actually easier than they normally are. I didn't even have to do New Game Plus, except to unlock one weapon right in the beginning. So I kind of wish the trophies were harder. which is a weird thing to wish for. Like, there's a 68% completion rate on PSN profiles. I got the platinum in 2 days and 14 hours, it tells me, so that tells you everything you need to know. I really, really enjoyed this, though. I think Rivet was I was really worried about introducing another playable character, but I think Rivet's great. I think Kit's great. I think all the characters are firing on all cylinders. The only thing, and this is not something they can control, is I thought there wasn't enough Captain Quark, and then I found out that Captain Quark's voice actor suffered like a severe stroke and is retired, and that's devastating. It's just like really, really sad, but still really, really good. I enjoyed it. I wish there was more characters in it, if that makes sense. Like, I wish there was more recurring characters, but it wasn't too bad. I don't know if it's my favorite Ratchet and Clank. It's up there. I think Crack in Time or Up Your Arsenal are still the best ones, and then Rift Apart, or not Rift Apart, Into the Nexus is pretty good too. So it's up there. I'll have to replay it again at some point, but I really, really enjoyed it. It was easily one of my favorites this year. All right, and then next up, the first RGG game of this video, Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. I'm going to throw this at an A rank. I really, really, really enjoyed this. I thought this game was phenomenal. The reason it's not an S rank is that I feel like for the first RPG they've made, it's really good, but it's also, there's like some hiccups here and there. So it's not quite a perfect game. I think it is an excellent passing the torch from the Kiryu saga, while also like retaining that it is still in the same universe. I think it's great. I think it's really fun. If you're a fan of RPGs and haven't played Yakuza, I think this is a good game for you. You might not get all the reference. I think if you haven't played the other Yakuza games, it's probably like an 8 out of 10. But I think if you have played the other Yakuza games, it's like a 9.5 out of 10. Like, it's the background improves it by that much. Very good. A bit long, but there was I don't want to spoil it. There was a moment in, I forget which chapter. I want to say chapter 14. No, I don't remember any chapters there are. Maybe chapter 8. There was a moment that I genuinely didn't see coming and screamed out loud when it happened. I was just an, oh, holy shit, like that kind of deal. So for me, a veteran who's played so many goddamn games, to be genuinely surprised is such a great feeling, and I treasure that. So very, very good. All right, next up we have Persona 5 Royale. This game's all right. It's long. It's really long. It's like 120 hours. It's stupidly long. My biggest problem with Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royale is that it treats me like it's the first video game I've ever played, and there's no option to like say I've played a video game before, please don't give me a 5-hour tutorial in the game. It just chugs right along. The beginning of this game is rough, and I think the midpoint is still rough. It's around the fifth palace, fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth palace. It's the one where Mona just acts like a bitch for like a solid month in game. It's just like it's Mona being annoying and Haru being the least interesting character in your party. And I just like it's just drags on. So the other thing is all the stuff they added for Persona 5 Royale, a lot of it is at the tail end of the game. It basically picks up where the original game ended, and there's no way to skip to it. So if you want to play the new content, you've got like 100 hours ahead of you. It's a lot. The platinum for this is also like laughably easy compared to Persona 5's or even Persona 4 Golden's, both of which I think require a bit of skill, a lot of like basically 100%ing it. Like you have to get every single persona, you have to fight the super bosses, you have to do a bunch of other stuff. They didn't have that in this one. In this one, the hardest one is to max out all of your like your personal skills, like courage, proficiency, stuff like that. That's the hardest trophy in this game. The rest is basically just beat the game and do like one-off things. So kind of a letdown. It feels like I did a lot of work for trophies that weren't that hard. Like just the game itself is just very long. But it was good. I'm gonna give this a B. I like Persona 5 a lot. I think the issue is that it's so long, and there's just times where they treat you like you're a child, and I don't enjoy that in games, especially rated M games. Like, it's so weird that they're so handholdy. I'm like, just let me play the game. I will say, Persona 5 Royale, if you played the original Persona 5, there's a lot of times where Mona would be like, you can't do that, go to bed. And they kind of changed that in this one, where there were times where previously where you would have to like go to bed, that now you can just do stuff around the cafe. So you can read, you can study, you can make tools. Like they let you do more things, and that goes a long way, because that would have made this insufferable. So they ease up on that a lot, except for during Palace 5, where you basically do nothing for a month. But yeah, all right, moving on. Hey, I'm late to the party, but Bastion, the game, pretty good, pretty solid. I enjoyed that a lot. It's I love Transistor, and I love Hades, and I finally was like, I should play through Bastion, because I've only played like an hour before, and I finally like pushed through it, and I was like, this is a pretty good game. So would recommend. Some of the trophies are kind of hard. Some of the challenges were a bit tougher than I was expecting, but overall not too bad. Next up, a game I don't think most people have heard of. Therian Arc Hero's School Story. The platinum apparently took me 5 days and 48 minutes. You can get it on... I thought it was on Vita, but I guess it's only on PS4. It feels like it should have been a Vita game. But yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the game. The story itself is nothing, but the gameplay is pretty interesting. You essentially train your students, and every 6 months, at least one of them has to graduate, or they'll force one to graduate. And you have to run through the game. There's like a class system, stuff like that. It felt like a very good framework for what could be good, and I think a second one would be very good, but wasn't too much to write home about. I don't regret my time with it. Like I said, it was 6 days. It's fine for the 6 days. I'll give it a C. Wasn't a terrible game. Wasn't super great. I think I bought it very cheap. I want to say I bought that for like $2 as well, but it was definitely worth $2. But yeah, just a quick little game I went through. Next up, which I did do a stream of. This is the game that I streamed the same day as Spiritfarer, Void Bastards, and Suicide Guy. Monster Sanctuary. Have not played enough. I've played like 20 hours of that game, and it's like I want to go back and finish it, but like I don't want to make a final verdict yet. It's Metroidvania style of like 2D going back and forth, but it's also turn-based battling, which is interesting. I don't really like the pixel style. I don't really like the graphics that much. It's like going for older school, but I don't have that nostalgia, so it just sort of doesn't really resonate with me. There's that, and a lot of backtracking, and I kind of have the same problem I had with World of Final Fantasy, in that the monsters feel like they take too much XP to level up. Like, I feel like the progression in that game is very slow, which is not good for a monster fighter kind of game. Like, I think Pokemon and Digimon nail it pretty well, where you feel like you're making serious progress. Like, it like when it levels up in those games, you feel like you've made progress. And in Digimon, you feel like you've made progress when you Digivolve. Like, I don't really think this game has that, at least at the point I'm at. And I do want to go back and finish it eventually, but it's just sort of like, it's all right. Other people might like it more than me. It's just, for me personally, I was just sort of like, it's fine. But I'm not going to make my final opinion yet. Next up, just I guess August and July was me trying to find games, just being unsuccessful. Danganronpa 3. Finally playing it. Game came out in 2016. I platinumed 1 and 2 before this game came out. And so it's been like 5 or 6 years since I played a Danganronpa, and I just like, it was a lot. I beat chapter 1, and that's it. Unfortunately, someone spoiled the end of Danganronpa 3 for me a couple years ago, and my brain has not been able to forget it. So like, it just hasn't been as good as it could be. But I'll go back to it eventually. I have a friend who's been streaming it, and I keep popping in and trying not to get spoiled, and getting spoiled a little bit. But yeah, so it's fine so far. I just haven't put enough time into it, so I can't really form an opinion yet. Next up, Legends of Talia Arcadia. I have a video of this. The platinum for this game, I'm not kidding. For PS4 and PS5, my time is the same for both of them. Platinum for this game takes 31 seconds. From the first trophy pop to the last trophy pop is 31 seconds. You basically start the game, set it to fast forward and auto text, and it just runs through the entire game, and it pops all 14 trophies. So, if you want an easy platinum, I think it was on sale for $2, and that's what tipped me off to it. But there you go. Another really great game I played this year, Slay the Spire. That's an easy A rank. I am still trying to get the platinum on that. I'm missing 15 trophies out of 45. Oh, it's taking forever. It's a lot of fun. It's a roguelike, card-like. It's a roguelike with cards. So it checks off a bunch of different boxes for me. I think it's a really, really good roguelike. I played this nonstop when I first started playing it. Literally for a week straight, I was just playing this at every waking moment. And I really, really enjoyed it. I want to go back to it. This is one of those games where it's like the platinum is very difficult, but I enjoy the game so much. I want this platinum. I need this platinum. I will not feel complete until I get the platinum for this game. It's not like, the platinum would be nice to have and it's easy enough to get. It's like, I don't care how hard this platinum is. I'm getting it because this game is dope. So yeah, that's where that's at. I do have one. Super Boxland Demake. It's all right. It's another trophy trash game. It's just move blocks around. It's whatever. Not the worst one I played. Next up, and I'm very excited for this one. Another S rank. Speaking of Hades, which I mentioned earlier when I talked about Bastion, Hades is one of my favorite games of all time. This game is so fucking good. It's so good. It's, again, roguelike. It's roguelike. The story is phenomenal. The visuals are great. It feels so good to play. I cannot believe they managed to make a roguelike feel that fun. The slow progress that you make on your permanent abilities is really well done. The ones that you can pick up in the middle of the dungeons are really fun. Again, the story is so good. I like it. I had to keep playing, not just because the gameplay was so fun, which it was, but because I was compelled. I want to know what happens. This is really good stuff. Honestly, one of the better games to come out in the last decade. If I can recommend one game from this list, it's Hades. Forever. So I platinumed that on PS5. It took me a week and 6 days, and I swear, even more than with Slay the Spire, I just played that game nonstop. I am excited to make the PS4 version my 200th platinum, because the game means that much to me. It's so much fun. So really good. Next up, the second of 3 RGG games I played this year, and playing it for the first time, Judgement. So Judgement is a spin-off from Yakuza. It's set in the same world, but it doesn't, in the same city, Kamurocho, but it almost aggressively so does not have any cameos from Yakuza. It almost goes out of its way to not have cameos. Ones where it would make sense if certain characters appeared in certain spots, and they will just go out of their way to not make them appear. There's 1 or 2 characters that cross over, like Onomichio. I don't remember if there's any named characters that you see, and I think the shopkeepers and stuff are the same. So you can see Mama from Earth Angel. But there's no side stories with them or anything like there are in the Yakuza games. It's odd in that aspect. It feels weird to have a game be this you're doing this much stuff and in the same city as so many characters that we know, and we don't see any of them. It's weird. It's it almost feels too I know they wanted the game to stand on its own, which I can appreciate, but it feels weird. It feels like they were purposely going out of their way to not have cameos. But the story for this game is really, really good. It's very not complicated, but more conflicting, where the villains have a good enough motivation where you're kind of I don't know. But the main villain, the thing that drives the plot. But there's also characters that are just assholes. And Yagami's great. Yagami and his team. Yagami, Kaido, all of Gendo Law, and then Sugira and stuff like that. All of them are fantastic. If you've played the Yakuza games, or if you haven't, pick up Judgment. It's a really good game. I'll give this an A. I really enjoyed my time with Judgment. Next up is a game I bought on sale because it had somewhat easy trophies. And I did want to keep going through it, and I messed up because I think you need to do 50 online matches, and the online's kind of dead for it because there's a sequel out for it. My Hero One's Justice. It's all right. It takes place between where does this take place? It takes place after the exam, so I think it's after season 2. I guess it basically just covers all of season 3, more or less. And it's all right. I think it feels really floaty, and I'm not like a huge fighting game fan already, but it's not bad. It's just it exists. The customization options in that game are really, really funny. So I can give it that. Next up, a game that I don't think is Game of the Year, but I still think is really, really good. Deathloop. So Deathloop swept the Game Awards, which felt weird because there were like a lot of the stuff it won. I was like, Deathloop was good, but like I don't think it like excelled above the other games in this category. Like best art direction, and it beat Psychonauts and Ratchet and Clank. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it beat a game called like An Artist's Tale, and I was like, I don't think that's true. I don't think you had the best art direction. But this game is a lot of fun. I haven't played a game from these guys from Arcane since Dishonored 1. And I really, really enjoyed it. My only issue with Deathloop is that it felt like you get a lot of powers that just you'll never use. I basically only used the invisibility, the Nexus one that connects people's brains, and then the teleport one. And there's like 3 other abilities. There's a telekinesis that I just didn't really feel the need to use. There's another one I can't remember too. But yeah, it just they felt like underutilized. Like they weren't powerful enough. It also had the same problem with that Deus Ex has, which is not really a problem. For Deus Ex, it's like by design. But you're really squishy. Oh, that's what the last one was, Havoc, where it like gives you like armor. I used that a couple times. But you're really squishy. So like all of like the loud options don't really make sense because like you're gonna go down really quickly. So I don't think it's like it was really well like I guess balanced in that way. Like stealth makes way more sense. The story is really good. I like the concept of it. I felt like it was 75% of a story. Like I felt like we were missing a lot. Like the game just never went into detail about it. I thought that was weird. And the ending was just sort of like I'll give it an A though. I did like as much as I'm talking shit about it, just because I don't think it was Game of the Year, but I do think it was a really solid game. I enjoyed my time with it. Platinum took about 5 days. I think it was really good, but it felt like it had more potential. Like if there was a Deathloop 2, I think that would be like an S tier game. Like I think if they could work out some of the small like design issues. But it is good. If you see it on sale, maybe like 30, I would say is good for pretty much anyone. If you're like interested in the game, 40 is probably pretty good for you. And then next up, the third RGG game I played this year, Lost Judgment, which is the sequel to Judgment. Lost Judgment takes place in the same city as all the other Yakuza games, like in Kamurocho, but also takes place in the same city as Yakuza 7, Yokohama. And there are a little bit more cameos in this game. There's like 5. Like it's not like as much as like it should be, but it's still like at least bare minimum like acknowledgement. So I actually thought the story in this game was even better than Judgment. I think the gameplay, the fighting in this game feels so fucking good. Like they finally mastered the new engine. And I really liked the side story with the school and stuff like that. I think this game is gonna be another S. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it improved on everything I had a problem with in Judgment. Like there's like 3 tailing missions as opposed to 300. So like it's just really all around. I'm really hoping that they managed. Like I think I'm gonna go back to Lost Judgment and Platinum, and even though the Platinum looks kind of difficult, but yeah, I just really hope they can manage to get the actor to come back because of his agency, and they do make a third Judgment game because this looks really good. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. Perhaps preemptively, because the movie just came out in December, I went back and I played Miles Morales again on a PS4, and it was this the third and fourth playthroughs. It was still fun. The game's still fantastic, but on PS4 it just wasn't quite as like crisp and clean as it was on PS5. And again, I probably should have waited until December so I could like play this after seeing the Spider-Man movie, which would have been a lot better. But it was good. I really enjoyed my time with it again. It's probably also an A rank, but it feels weird to put them both in the same bracket where I think the PS5 one was a lot cleaner. But yeah, still a really solid game. Would really recommend it. Next up is Warlock's Tower. This is my least favorite trophy trash game I played this year. It's a a puzzle game. If you've ever seen Hitman Go, it's the same as that, where it's a tile puzzle where you have to like walk this way and then walk that way, beat the enemies, hit the switches, and it's so god damn boring. So you like when you're doing trophies or you're doing a trophy guide for games like this, they'll like write out the exact steps you have to take, and like that'd be fine if I could just mash them. If I could just be like up, down, left, right, down, up, like that. But you can't, because you take a step and then you have to wait for the enemies to take a step or like the environment to move. So it's like step, and there'll be like 40 steps in a puzzle, and it's just so exhausting. I really cannot. I need to not buy another one of these games. I need to not buy it because I hated Hitman Go. I hate Warlock's Tower. I still have to do it on Vita, and I'm not excited about it. It's dumb, and I don't think it was worth it. Next up, we have a whole 2-hour podcast talking about this, so I'm not really going to get into it. Last of Us Part 2. Beautiful game. Terrible story. Just really dumb environments. Dumb plot holes. I did not enjoy the game. But doing my platinum playthrough, basically on like super mega easy, and just like having cheats on of like infinite health and infinite ammo and stuff, made it so I could actually look at the environments a little bit more. It was fine. Or I'm sorry, it's not fine. I don't like this game. If it comes on PS5, I will not play it again. But it was the platinum playthrough wasn't as bad. Just because you could skip all the cutscenes. It's not a good game. I don't like the Uncharted games that much, but boy, did this game make me appreciate The Last of Us a lot more. Like the original Last of Us a lot more. Next up, and there is a stream of this, is Final Fantasy VII. I have not played through the game to completion. I've only beaten the first disc, but this is the furthest I've ever gotten in this game. The platinum requires like a very specific playthrough style, which is whatever. But I'm enjoying what I'm playing of it. I'd like to go back and stream it more to get people to help me with the completion, but not a priority or anything. Just thought I'd mention it on the tier list because I did play a good amount of it this year. Another one that I'm really excited to talk about is Bleach Soul Resurrection. We're gonna give that an A. Finally went back and did some of the trophies I was missing in this game, because I have a new TV that like auto tries to make games 60 FPS and makes PS3 games actually look really fucking good. So I'm only missing. So I have to beat every mission, and I have to level up all characters. Those are the two like main trophies I'm missing, and I have, I think, 5 out of like 15 or 5 out of like 16 done. So I'm like basically a third of the way through, almost getting the platinum. I'm excited. I do want to get this platinum before the anime premieres again next October. But it feels good to almost complete this game. I'm excited. It's the only like main console Bleach game. There was a kind of shitty fighter on Wii, and there was like a bunch on the DS and GBA that I just not that interested in. But yeah, I had the itch, and I definitely want to platinum this game before it comes back. Not the itch, the anime. Next up is Yakuza Dead Souls. Didn't really play enough, is the true answer. It's a PS3 game. It looks the worst of all the games I've played because it's the only one that's not remastered. It feels like a Resident Evil game, which nobody told me. Like it does play like one, but it does have some frame drops and stuff like that. I do want to go back to it though. It seems fun and quirky. I think if they do remaster this and it comes to like PC and modern consoles, I'll probably play that version instead of keeping up with the PS3 version, just because it'll probably have frame rate stuff fixed. But I'm liking what I'm playing so far. It's probably cruising for a B rank maybe, but we'll see. Next up is Carrion. I'll put Carrion in B rank, actually. Fun little game where you get to play as like an It style monster. Or not It style. The Thing style monster. Stories, whatever. But pretty quick platinum. It says I got it in like 4 days. Some of the puzzles are kind of... I got stuck a couple times, but for the most part, pretty fun game. Pretty quick. If you see it on sale, it's a good like Halloween game to play. I did platinum it on Halloween. Proud of myself for that. But it's cool. Let's see. Next up on the B rank is The Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars. This is a card-based RPG made by Yoko Taro. I played the demo when I was deeply ill with bronchitis, which is on the channel. I enjoyed it. I haven't finished it yet. I've got like half the trophies. So there's a trophy to get 50,000 gold, and there's one of the 4 legendary weapons costs 20,000 gold. So I bought the legendary weapon, and then I was reading up on trophy guides. Like, yeah, don't buy the legendary weapon until you get this trophy. And I was like, beans. So I like that's part of that has made me not want to like go back to it immediately, because I do not have a backup save. Because apparently it's kind of hard to grind for money in that game. But it's fun. It's all right. It's not like anything to write home about. Actually, I haven't finished it yet, so this may move up later. But for now, it's a C rank. It's all right. I like the humor in it. It's got some Yoko Taro-esque stuff in it, but it's also like it's only like $30, $20. So I think it's worth it for that price. And it seems kind of short too, but it's good. It's a good RPG. I've had my fill of RPGs recently. Next up is Redacted. I will not be going into detail about this game. I really shouldn't be putting it here at all. If you know, you know. If I would say maybe watch the credits if you have this game, and about 10 minutes, 30 seconds in, you might see a familiar name. But I can't talk about it. Just leave it there. Don't talk about it, and we won't say anything more about it. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim Anniversary Edition. I'm so tired of playing this fucking game. This is the 4th time I've platinum Skyrim. I've platinum on PS3, PS4, PS4 VR, and now PS5. And I don't want to play it anymore. Stop making me play this game, Bethesda. It's fine. This time the platinum took me like 2 weeks. It's not that good of a game. The more I play it, the more I'm like, it's not that good. It looks like shit at this point. The engine's weird. There's not that much depth to the game. Some of the like main quests and the side quests are monotonous. Oh god. The more I play this game, the more I'm like, can they please remake Oblivion? Like, it's more on rails than I remembered. That's all I'm gonna get into it about it. The trophy list for this game is actually pretty cool though. You have to finish all of the main side stories. You have to finish the main story. You have to learn a bunch of the shouts. You have to pickpocket and steal 50 times. You have to, I think, pick a certain number of locks as well. Like, the trophy lists for Bethesda games are usually actually pretty good. I think the ones I've done are Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Skyrim 4 times. I've mostly done Oblivion on 360. But they're surprisingly pretty good. I actually do think that the trophy list itself is well done, but it's just the game. I just don't want to play it anymore. I'm so tired of it. And I'm glad I don't have to buy it again. Please, just make another game, or just like remaster the other ones. Please, just stop milking Skyrim. It's already dead. Next up is Cozy Grove. I am enjoying my time with Cozy Grove. I have put a stop to it for a while. It's basically like a store brand Animal Crossing, but with like a story. The trophy requires you to play 1 day in each season, and it also requires you to play, I think, 90 separate days. And I think I'm on like 27 or something like that. But it's fun. It's just a game you can play like an hour or two a day. You can't really get more out of it than that. Like, it literally just run out of things to do completely. So, but yeah, I want to get the platinum eventually. I'm 62% for it, so I'll go back eventually. Next up is Grand Theft Auto 3 Definitive Edition. I have never played Grand Theft Auto before. I've played GTA 5, I've played GTA 4. I hadn't played any of 3, but I'd played Vice City and San Andreas growing up. So this is my first time playing 3, and I gotta be honest, it really wasn't that bad. The story is nonsense. It's just...
It's just you doing missions for people and then fucking them over. One interesting thing about 3 compared to the other games I've played is that once you basically make an enemy out of a faction, then every time you drive in the area where those enemies are, they will shoot at you, and they'll try to kill you, and that you can't change that. So by the end of the game, every single faction is hostile to you, which I think is really funny. I'm also just noticing, have I not been including the trophy trash in this list? What happened here? Did I break something? What happened here? How did I... What? Alright, well there's the trophy trash. You don't have to worry about it. It's off screen. Kind of annoyed that I left that there, but whatever. I swore I had the whole thing before. I don't know what happened here. But yeah, so I it's, actually no. Hold on, we're gonna do this for the rest, just so that it includes everything. Forget the white bars. I'll fix that later. But yeah, it's all right. I think the trophy for it, or the platinum list for it, is actually surprisingly fun. It took me about a week to platinum it from start to finish. I played it because it was on PS Now. You just have to know a couple things going into it, like do certain missions before you do other things, and try and do like the side missions before progressing, because like I said, everyone and their mother will try to kill you once you get past a certain point, so you don't want to do that. You want to avoid that. But I thought it was interesting. For my first time playing it, I was like, it's not that bad. I'm just gonna ignore the trophy trash list. Doesn't matter. That's not the part you came for. But yeah, so I platinumed that in about a week. Next up, we have another S rank, Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker. Oh, it was so good. They basically wrapped up the saga of this like 8 or 9 year story. From A Realm Reborn, which is 2.0, to 6.0, which is Endwalker. They closed a lot of, or they wrapped up a lot of plots involving that stuff, and they did it very well. I won't spoil it, but it was just like, I really liked A Realm Reborn. I thought Heaven's Ward abandoned some plots in A Realm Reborn that I was very invested in, but other than that, it was mostly pretty good. I thought Stormblood was okay, just okay. It never gets bad, but I think Stormblood is the weakest. The environments are really cool in Stormblood, but the story was just sort of like, and then, but also with Stormblood, I took 3 days off to play it at launch when it like first came out, and there were server issues, and I couldn't progress the story, so I didn't end up coming back to it for like a year or two later because I was so like disillusioned, and it was fine. And then Shadowbringers I didn't play at launch, and I didn't play until I think earlier this year actually. So I probably should have included Shadowbringers on this list as well. It would be an A. It wouldn't be S rank. But I like Shadowbringers. It just felt like filler at some points because you're basically in a different area. But the character development in Shadowbringers is so good for like everyone involved. And the music is really good as well. Endwalker took the best parts of every other update or expansion and just like cranked them to 11 or 14, should I say. It's really, really good. It's crazy to think that this is the same game that they had to shut down after 1.0 because it was so bad, and now they have to stop selling it because it was so bad, and now they have to stop selling it because there's too many people trying to play it at once and they can't buy servers. So yeah, honestly, really, really, really good. Excited to see what else would they do to the story, but it's also like I could just walk away at this point. Like, I got my closure. I could just stop playing. I won't, but I could. Next up is Nier Replicant. I really, 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 really enjoyed this game. I played a little bit on PS3 after playing Automata, and I enjoyed what I played of it, but also like just took forever. Or it's just like it wasn't polished, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It felt like a B or a C game on PS3. But playing it on PS4 with like updated combat and stuff like that, really, really enjoyed it. I loved the characters are great. It did the same thing as Automata, where you had to beat the game like 5 times to get the true ending. I think that got old because you basically had to you replayed the second half of the game, I want to say 4 or 5 times, which got old because they only changed it slightly between each time. Like it was subtle at first, and the second time and the third time they changed a lot of stuff, but then the fourth was the same as the third. And it just got kind of boring. And then the 5th time you have to play the first half of the game again. It's such a fucking mess. But there were some trophies for speedrunning as well. Basically beating a boss within a certain amount of time. But there's no like chapter select. So if you miss the boss, you have to play through another time, which I had to do for the mermaid boss, if you know what that one is. And I had to do it for the final boss as well. But there's also a trophy to beat the game under 15 hours, which I wasn't excited about because it means you need to play the game from start to finish again, and it doesn't count towards your other stuff, so that's kind of annoying. The worst one, hands down, is to collect 33 weapons or 34 weapons. It's written that way because in the original game there was DLC that I think added 3 weapons, so like you had like a 3-weapon leeway that you can kind of mess with, so you didn't have to do all of them technically. They kept that in this game, and they added another weapon along with the ending E route. But it still is the grinding for materials in this game is so bad because it's all RNG based. It's all from different enemies, and they're all in like random spots. There's enemies that like just don't spawn as frequently once you're at the end of the game. The drop rate is broken. I think there's not any like real data about it. I don't think anyone's data mined the PC version to find out. But basically, it seems like if your drop rate up goes past a certain point, it just breaks and just makes it back to 0. So it's like that doesn't even help. There's some enemies where like literally 2 of them will spawn on the map, and you have to get like 4 different items from them, and it's like, why are you doing this to me? So it was a very long grind. I finally finished it up in December, and I'm very glad I did, just to put the cap on that. The story is great. Trophies are kind of a hassle. And it's like worse because the trophy completion rate is 21% on PSN profiles. And I'm like, it was so hard. How can this be so high of a percentage complete when it was so hard? The weapon grind was awful. So I'm a little salty about that still. Still a really great game. Definitely an A rank. Next up, this is going to be a little surprising too. A short hike. I'm going to also put this in A rank. I played this game. I platinumed near like midnight. Loaded up a short hike and had the platinum for a short hike by 4 a.m. So it's a very quick game. Super, super, super cute. Super well done. I enjoyed all of my time on a short hike. I cannot recommend it enough. I think I bought it for like $8. I think it might be 10 normally. Absolutely pick up a short hike. It's so much fun. It's so good. I recommend everyone do this. Play this game. Next up, and yet another A rank, Binding of Isaac Repentance. I'm missing 1 trophy for the platinum in this game, and it's to complete all challenges because I loaded up my save in PS4 version, which popped a couple of the other trophies. All of the changes that have been made to Binding of Isaac with each like update. So there was Afterbirth, Antibirth. I forget. There's a third one I always forget. Or maybe it's. I think it's Afterbirth, Afterbirth Plus, and then Antibirth. And then Repentance. And Repentance did a lot of cool changes that I think were really good for the game, and also added a bunch of cool stuff. The furthest I've gotten is I've beaten Mother. I haven't beaten the Beast, and I haven't unlocked any tainted characters yet. I was close. I almost unlocked a tainted character, but I lost a Dogma. So I didn't get to unlock them, and I was very upset. All the characters that they have are pretty cool too. I still have to unlock Keeper, or not Keeper. Forgotten is the only character I'm missing at this point. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. I don't like Jacob and Asao. I find them chaotic, but not in a fun way. Like they're hard to control. But really, really good. It's really, really. I've been looking forward to this, and it did not disappoint. It's been super fun to go back to this game. I look forward to slowly chipping away at that platinum as I do more and more of the challenges. I'm very excited. Next up, the next day after platinuming a short hike, or I'm sorry, I platinumed this on Christmas. I was working on another game in between, but Bug Snacks, another A rank. I played all my favorites at the end of the year, I guess. Bug Snacks is great. It's probably like a 2-day platinum. I think it's a really fun message, or not message. I think it's a really fun game. It combines like Pokemon Snap and Viva Pinata. Some people aren't into it, which maybe they don't like joy in their life, but I love how happy everything seems, and then like how real it gets sometimes. I loved the whole ending section where they basically flip stuff on its head, like with the gadgets and stuff like that. And I really, really, really thought that was clever. Super excited. I don't know if I'll play the DLC, because I think I got what I wanted out of it. And there's no platinum for the DLC. but we'll see. I might try it. There was like one or two that were really annoying to catch. The Flaming Cheesy Poof is the one I think of. It didn't take me as long in the second time, but it took me a long time the first time. But yeah, very, very fun game. Check it out on PC or PS4, PS5 if you haven't. I don't know if it's worth $25 because it's kind of short. But if you see it on sale for like $15, I would definitely grab it at that. Or if you have it on PS Plus from getting on PS5, you absolutely need to grab it. Next up, I finally platinum Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep on PS4. So now that I have it on PS3 and PS5, or I'm sorry, and PS3 and PS4. Really, really fun game. I love the story in this game. It's starting to show its age. It's I still will give it an A rank because I really, really love the story of this. I love the gameplay. The command system is so good. The platinum is rough because you basically have to 100% the game 3 times, meaning beat every single super boss with all 3 characters, do every single mini game with all 3 characters, do all of the arena missions with all 3 characters, and not enough progress saves between the 3 characters, if that makes sense, and it annoys the shit out of me. So very long and tedious platinum, but I finally have it. The super bosses weren't too bad, but Mysterious Figure as Terra, which was the last thing I had to do for the platinum, was very rough. But yeah, I basically went from all 3 of them not being 100%ed to 100%ed within like a week. Took me like a day. Oh, I should mention, the reason I finally went back to it is I have a turbo controller, and I for like a week, I think this was while I was playing Final Fantasy 14. I had a rubber band and a turbo controller, and I was just making them run in circles and jump. And there's an ability in that game where every step you take is not another mistake, but every step you take is 1 XP, and I think jumping is like 5 XP. So I had them just jumping in a circle, and it like kind of worked. Like the game has a thing where if you do it too long, it just makes you stop moving because it like is trying to prevent you from doing that. Because I have a turbo controller, it made me keep jumping, and eventually like it was held so long that they would just eventually start moving again. So I went and leveled all 3 characters to like level 60 and Aqua level 70, and that made the game a lot more bearable and took out a lot of grinding that would have made that a lot more miserable, to be honest. So completing the commands, doing the command boards for all 3 characters was not fun. The races were quick enough with the 3 characters. It got old, is basically what it came down to, but I do think the game is still phenomenal. Next up, we have a game that came out this year that I really tried to platinum, and it just like kept eluding me because of RNG collectibles. Returnal. Oh, I don't want to put it in D rank. What am I doing? Returnal's a really solid game. I think it's not a very good roguelike. When you take games like Hades, Binding of Isaac, Slay the Spire, you can get like really broken runs where like you become like super strong, or you can get like pretty good abilities that like synergize well together. Returnal doesn't really have that. There's like a handful of abilities that like will synergize with each other, but for the most part, they're all like just different buffs that like affect you in different ways, and they're kind of few and far between. It didn't like I never at any given point felt overpowered in this game. It's just hard. There are some bosses that are absolute bullshit, and they're all in the abyss. No. There's some bosses that are way harder, and the fact that they can spawn so early when you just like have no equipment and abilities is kind of a drag. The game is basically set in two halves. The first 3 areas and the second 3 areas. And the second 3 areas can get kind of brutal because all the enemies are leveled up, but you basically start fresh with a pistol. So the early parts of the first or the fourth area can get kind of annoying. The story's alright. I still don't know that I fully understand it. I need to go look it up. But it was good. I liked it. I played it a good amount. I think it's definitely fun. I'd wait till it goes on PS Plus, very likely, or PS Now. I wouldn't. If you pay for it, I would say $20, probably safe. I will say for a brand new game from a studio like House Marquee, it's definitely very impressive for a brand new game. It looks really good. The haptic feedback was fun. I liked the half the weapons. I never felt strong enough like you would in a roguelike. So I felt like it would be better if it was just a standard action game as opposed to doing the multiple runs, which I know is like a whole point of the game. But yeah, I think they should give it give it another shot, I guess. But I just do think it was still a really solid game. Overall, I would say it was a good experience. Next up, I don't think I like Sakura Wars. I'm on chapter 4, and no, just in case, maybe next year, putting it at didn't play enough, which is now. Oh, I see what's happened here. Oh, I figured it out, guys. It's because they're becoming 2 rows, which is pushing them out of the screen. Whoops. Okay. Now I know I'm not crazy. All right, I will put it a little bit out. It's gonna look a little smaller. But yeah, I think this is the same issue that I had with Senran Kagura, where it's just like the game is really pervy. Not as pervy as Senran Kagura, but it's like a dating sim, but like if the people we were talking to didn't know anything about anything and had no how do I put this? It's just so weird. So there's like, here are the characters. First of all, it stars a character who is supposed to be 20, looks like he's 29. Just a disgraced head of a battleship. Again, at age 20, who goes to become a captain of this regiment of people who fight mechs, who also run a theater company because of course they do. So he also has to run the theater stuff, but not in like a fun like minigame micromanagement way, in like a visual novel kind of way, which is like the worst way they could have possibly done this. The characters are all weird. So there's like 5 characters that you can fight with, one of which is supposed to be 19 and looks like she's 30. One of which is 13. I don't even want to get into that. Who thinks she's a ninja. And then there's a 16-year-old and 2 17-year-olds. And the game is like hardcore dating sim, but you're 20 looking like you're 29, and then there's these 16-year-olds looking like they look like they're 20, so it's not as creepy as like Senran Kagura. But like it is creepy when it's like the age difference so much, but it's also like pervy, but like 3 out of the 5 characters seem like they've never even heard of sex, don't even know what it is. So it's just really weird. They like react in like very dumb ways. It's that dumb anime thing of like, we're going to be pervy, but nobody knows what sex is. It's like, well, that doesn't make sense. Don't do that. So it just really annoyed me over time. I just wasn't a huge fan. But the platinum seems easy enough and straightforward enough. There's a mech game in here, but I'm not kidding. It's like 20% of the game. And it's basically just a Muso style. Like you fight with a mech, you beat a bunch of enemies, a couple stronger mini bosses, and then you beat a boss. And it's just, the story is nonsense. It doesn't matter. It feels like a Monster of the Week type anime, but not even a Monster of the Week. It feels like just a harem anime, which I don't have a lot of experience with. But it's just like the whole thing is like, oh, we need to get funding or we're gonna go out of business, and then you get funding in 1 chapter, and they're like, okay, that's not a problem anymore. It's like, what? All right, and you just like barely play in the mechs. It's just so weird. I don't think I like it. The whole reason I bought this game was I was looking for a game to play last year, and B, the character designs are done by Tite Kubo, who is the author of Bleach, and I love the character designs. The characters look really cool, but I'm just like, it's so hard to get through. I'm like halfway through the game, and I have to follow a guide because, of course, there's missables and stuff like that. But I realized I wasn't enjoying it, and I just put it down and was like, I need to play something else. All right, and finally, the last game I played this year, or last year. I have not finished it yet, but the platinum looks pretty easy. The final game that I played last year. There was, drumroll please, Katamari Damacy reroll. That's an easy A rank for me. So I'm not going to explain what Katamari Damacy is because I couldn't if I tried. Playing it again and playing the first one for the first time, I guess, because I've played a lot of Katamari Forever, which is on PS3. But playing the original, which I haven't played since the PS2 days, and like it's such a. This is the kind of Japan that I do like. Though, just if you're gonna get weird, go full all the way weird. Really fun, really enjoying it. It's definitely an A rank because it's so unique. I cannot think of another game that's like Katamari Damacy. And the music's really fun. The King of Cosmos is fantastic, and I love how weird the levels are. So I'm excited to finish up the platinum on that one. But yeah, this is my tier list for let me just hold on. I'll just download an image at this point. We can I'll just put that over. But yeah, this is my tier list for 2021. I hope this does some stuff for the games that I said I didn't play enough of, or the games I said I hadn't finished yet. Let me know which ones I should go back to. Which ones you think are like strong recommends. Do you take issue with these? Are there any here that you're like, I think you rated it too high or too low? If I had to do a game of the year, which is not what this is about, I would say it's the top 5 are really good. I really, really liked all 5 of those. Hades is the one I probably spent the most time with and like was just like really good from like the whole time. So I would say probably Hades if I had to pick. Ratchet & Clank was still really good. Resident Evil 8 was really good. I played through Resident Evil 8 like 4 times and it was still fun. Because it was New Game Plus, but also just like it's just a really well made game. Endwalker was fantastic for the story, wrapping up that. Lost Judgment was really, really good. So like, it's tough to say. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you made it to the end, just to, because I want to know, like, if you've sat through this long. Let me know if you want to see more of this. I basically, I don't know how long this video is going to be with editing, and I don't know when I'm going to get to it. Spoiler: it's January 1st, the day of recording, so we'll see how long it takes me to put this together. But yeah, I thought this was fun. I can see myself doing more tier lists, but not all the time, just like every once in a while. So let me know if you want to see more content, what it could improve, what could be different, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. I love you.